because the people who do managing. So the owner of the houses, this rich, I have a guy in my neighborhood who he has 35,000 units that he owns. And I know if he earns a quarter every month from each one, he makes a lot of money. 35,000 units he owns. So Mamela, so I always was thinking right before Pesach, there must be hundreds of empty apartments. The guy just left and come in. It depends which of the month. And does he have to say the boys, I'm not kind of the chametz? Maybe he has to make a public announcement. No, he's not interested in koine. He's not interested in koine the chametz, not the cocaine, and not the $35,000. He doesn't want the headache. This guy tells me, I asked him, what else did you find besides cocaine? He says, I found an old lamp. It was from the 50s. Now, how much did you sell it? I had the guy buy it for me for $100. You think that the rich guy, you have a lamp, bring it to me. Yeah. Part of business is, I don't want to have the headaches. I want the cash. So he doesn't have no intentions to be koine. That's clear. He has absolutely no intention to be koine. So he doesn't have to say, the chametz that's in the apartment while it was empty, even it should be mishtameres. He doesn't want it. If you don't want something, no one can make you have yours. We'll get to it later. That's why it's not his. It's not a problem. You understand? So anyways, coming back, so that's a separate issue where the guy has a shoyl. A shoyl apartment, the shach wants to say, kind, but the fact is, no one really wants to have the chametz. But that's a whole ariches. Answering his kasha, I think Levi was your name, the bottom line is that you, even if you borrow an apartment from someone, it's your obligation to clean it out to get rid of the chametz. Another 5 minutes. Any other questions? We could change the topic. No, you just have to check the luggage. See, I was going to explain that. A very good question. Many people don't check the car. Many people rent a car, chalamoid. And if you rent a car, chalamoid, you have to check the car. I am very makpid when my children come, so I rent a van because can I order, all the son-in-laws and daughters and grandchildren come. And we found once a very expensive computer, toy computer. Forgot these fancy things, the name, in the compartment. You know what I mean? Obviously, someone left it there. Api halacha, you have to check. You rent a van, chalamoid, you have to check. Many people go skiing, chalamoid, up north. So they rent a place. So I tell them, you go up skiing, you have to, when you come into the room, you have to check the room, make a b'dikas chametz with a flashlight, look all over Shemay chametz. Yes, you have to make b'dika. Of course you have to make. You may go around the room and make sure there's no chametz there.
And when you find something,
you throw it out, you burn it. Yeah. So I tell people, I tell people to cover their mini bars, and I was told as long as you don't open it, you're not the owner of it. And you should tell them, if it ever gets, I tell people, tell the owner, you have the mini bar, if anything happens, you're not responsible for it. Because you shouldn't have a chrais on it. Because I'm not allowed to. Yeah, but you tell them ahead of time, I'm not going to drink, I'm not taking a responsibility. Most people often, they don't care. Someone told me, he asked them to take it out, and took it out for him. Someone told me the... One guy told me, he asked him to take it out, he told me he's an alcoholic. That guy once told me. But you have to check the room, you have to check the car, You have an obligation to burn, you just have an obligation to get rid of it. Well, yes. Not all. I was told not all. I'll explain next week because we need another few halachas to explain that.
Rabbi, the guys who own the vending machines, they have to sell the vending machines.
Well, yes, the vending machines, the frumah don't put in chametz. The real guys, b'nei Torah, Coke is not a problem. It's not chametz. But many people have vending machines chametz guma. They don't. I tell them not to do it. You know what? Next week We'll talk about Mechiras Chometz. I'll bring the star. I explain next week, Me'et Hashem, the Mechira, why certain Mechiras are good, why they're not good. Hopefully by next week you get a star. Yes?
How detailed is your Bedikas Chometz? Like you need a garage. Like you said, you look for what, big as what?
Well, I look for Cheerios as big as a Cheerio.
So, I mean,
If you have a garage that's uncheckable, many people have a garage as a mess. I just tell them to sell, make put paper, tape, and that part you should sell and not let anyone go there. That's a big deal of it. But many people tell me they have a freezer in the garage and there's no way they could clean the garage. Depends on what goes on in the garage,
So when
you're
you
still on your hands and knees looking behind everything.
I try, yes.
you sell only the garage, you sell the garage,
You sell, let's say I have a big garage. My garage. If I have a freezer there, access, I can't sell it. But let's say I could really sell the back of the garage. Perhaps it's not such a mess. We could look it through. But there are people who told me they have a freezer, but the garage there's no way they could check it. So in the Les Breda, I tell them, put up a tape up the whole yellow tape, and that part behind the yellow tape is sold, and no one should go there.
Can you finish up on the Shiurim that came in the LA Times?
I want to the whole halacha and the whole sugya to explain that, the kinyan, how it works.
Rabbi Tauber, just to clarify, you're going away for Pesach, so therefore you have to sell your house to the goyim.
You don't have to. If you could make bedikas chometz, clean the house spotless, and don't sell it. But most people, why bother? That means if you're going away for Pesach, you don't really have to do. You could check it and not sell it. But most people say, why check it if no one's going to use it? And I could sell it.
So when you do sell it, I'm just confused about the issue you spoke about before about the goya coming and cooking the chazir.
Yeah, but if she comes in and she cooks chazir, then you have to cash to the house. But my shiksa, my shiksa buys probably 500 apartments. Approximately. I don't think she's, in the 25 years I used the same shiksa, didn't go into anyone's apartment.
But most shiksas
Don't go. So that's why, on the apartment, we allow to be somich, she didn't go. Because probably she won't go. But he asked that.
But in order to make it a kosher,
Yeah, it says she could come. She could come.
So who's watching her when she comes?
But we have a right to assume she's not going to come. But she it has to be theoretically able to come. If it's hers, she should be able to come.
So she's not going to come.
She doesn't want to come, but she knows that she has access.
When she does come, who's watching her?
I don't know. You're right. And that's a problem. But it's not going to be a problem because we have a right to assume that she's not going to come. He asked a different question. He asked that his shiksa, many people have, the wealthy people in my neighborhood, have the shiksa to go away. They want the shiksa bring in the mail, clean the front, it should look lived in, and they hang out there. They probably. That's a big problem because they're not there and the shiksa could cook.